Herkese merhabalar. Merhabalar, tekrar merhabalar
Hello,
değerli
everyone. Hello, and once again, hello, distinguished guests. Welcome. I am Matt Fraud, UNDP Turkey's Goodwill Ambassador. Today, we have UNDP Resident Representative Mr. Claudio Tomasi and national footballer Mr. Yusuf Yazıcı with us in order to announce UNDP Turkey's No Poverty Advocate. We suggest that you watch our press conference in full screen mode and you should choose the Turkish language option in the interpretation module for simultaneous interpretation from English into Turkish. As United Nations Development Program, in other words, UNDP, believing in the unmatched power of sports, particularly in the last 1 year, we have focused more on the communication activities in line with the goals of gender equality, climate action, life below water, and reduced inequalities. Today, we meet to announce that we'll maintain and further enforce and enhance our efforts in this direction. Firstly, we'd like to start with a video, one more video summarizing what we have done in this last 1 year.
Tek başıma neyi değiştirebilirim ki dememek lazım.
I owe all my success to women, basically, because I coach women volleyball.
Dünyada görmek istediğim değişimin sporla, sanatla, bilimle olabileceğine inanıyorum.
Gezegenimizi korumak ve tüm insanların barış, adalet ve refah içinde yaşamasını sağlamak için sürdürülebilir kalkınma amaçlarını herkesin sahiplenmesi gerekiyor. UNDP Türkiye olarak bu köprünün kurulmasında sporun eşsiz bir rol olduğuna inanıyoruz. Pandemi süreci boyunca bu uğurda bizimle birlikte mücadele eden herkese minnettarız. 6 Nisan Kalkınma ve Barış için Dünya Spor Günü'nde sporun toplumda oynadığı rolü onurlandırıyor. Spor yapan, seyreden, yöneten herkesi küresel amaçları için hareket etmeye davet ediyoruz.
Evet, Yusuf Yazıcı'ya çok teşekkür ediyoruz.
Yes, thank you very much, Yusuf Yazıcı, for your remarks. And we're back to the ceremony for the newcomers. In fact, this video acted as a reminder. So we just had a quick look at the 17 global goals and the UNDP Turkey's operations in the field of sports that were carried out for sustainable development in Turkey over a period of more than 1 year. And today we all meet online to announce UNDP's No Poverty Advocate. All those who are with us today, thank you very much for joining. The global goal number 1, no poverty, is the keystone to UNDP's sustainable development role. particularly with the pandemic, it has become apparent that we need to respond to inequalities more strongly than ever. At that point, we've decided to join the forces with the national footballer and the star of Lille club, Mr. Yusuf Yazıcı, who has undertaken the No Power to Goal as a personal responsibility. Let's watch his movie now.
Çocukken babamın fark ettirmeden kendisinden kısıp bize harcadığını bilirdim. Çok isteyen bir çocuk olmadım hiçbir zaman. Oğlumun istediğini alamadım diye üzülmesinden korkardım. Tek bir hayalim vardı, futbolcu olmak. Hayatım varsa yoksa krampondu. Dolmuşa binmez, her yere yürür, aylarca harçlık biriktirirdim. O biriktirdiğim parayla zar zor bir krampon alırdım. Ama çok top oynadığım için hemen eskirdi kramponlarım. Yenisini isteyemezdim. Aynı kramponu defalarca tamir ettirirdim. Böyle zamanlarda büyüdüğümde dünyanın en iyi futbolcusu olacağım derdim. Her şeyin en iyisini alacağım, aileme çok güzel bir hayat sunacağım. Hayatım boyunca çok çalıştım. Çocukluğumu, gençliğimi futbola adadım. Çalışmanın gücüne inandım. Ve ne elde ettiysem de çok çalışarak oldu. Çocukluğumda hayallerimi küçük kağıtlara yazar, kimsenin bulamayacağı yerlere saklardım. O kağıtlarda yazan tüm hayallerim birer birer gerçekleşti. Kendime, Yusuf oğlum bak ne hayal ettiysen hepsi oldu. Her şeyim var artık dediğim anda sahip olduğum her şeyi bir anda kaybetme noktasına geldim. Bu kadar ağır bir sakatlığı geçirmek bana çok değerli bir şey öğretti. Şan, şöhret, para, pul, mal, mülk. Bunların hepsi gelip geçici. Bir gün var, ertesi gün yok. Sahip olduğumuzu sandığımız hiçbir şey aslında gerçekten bizim değil. Ve hayat aslında başarılı olmak, ünlü olmak, zengin olmak, mutlu olmak değil. Tüm bunlara sahip olduktan sonra ne yapacağınla ilgiliymiş. Güce sahip olduğunda adaletli olmak. Üne sahip olduğunda şefkatli olmak. İmkanlara sahip olduğunda faydalı olmak. Benim kadar şanslı olmayanlara şans yaratmak. Başkalarının hayatına dokunmak demekmiş. Varlığımın bir anlamı olması, bir fark yaratmış olması gerekiyor. Adanmışlık tam da böyle bir şey aslında.
Evet, Yusuf'a teşekkür etmeye devam
Well, once again, thank you, Yusuf. I think throughout this day, I will be thanking Yusuf Yazıcı for his meaningful stance and remarks. We'll hear more details from Yusuf later on, but first I'd like to give the floor to UNDP Turkey resident representative Mr. Claudia Tomasi. The floor is yours.
Sesim geliyor mu?
Thank you very much, Mert.
Thank you.
Dear all, today we're here, as you know, we're here together to appoint Mr. Yusuf Yazıcı as our no poverty advocate of the United Nations Development Program in Turkey. All of you are aware of Yusuf's outstanding football career, which has led him to his transfer to Lille from Trabzonspor as the highest paid transfer of the Turkish club. And with exceptional performance in Lille, he has become the first Turkish player who hit the headlines of the famous French sports newspaper L'Equipe. However, the success of an athlete, even though it is a global success, is not enough to become a global goals advocate. UNDP advocates are an outstanding group of personalities who use their talent and status to attract the world's attention on the objectives of our common agenda, the Sustainable Development Goals. Even more important, they must incarnate the values that underpin solidarity and show the right behavior inside and outside their professional field. At the UNDP Turkey, last year we appointed national volleyball team coach Giovanni Guidetti and national volleyball player Bahar Toksoy Guidetti as UNDP Turkey's gender equality advocates. 10 times world record holder freediver Shaika Ercümen was also appointed as UNDP Turkey Life Below Water advocate. These sports figures were selected because of their personal interest and dedication to produce positive change in society and in our environment. We are happy to report that their personal interest and commitment has paved the way for many successful sports and sustainability projects within a year, despite the challenges of the pandemic. Now, when it comes to the Sustainable Development Goal, do you know which one is the first one of the 17? Well, the first one is no poverty, is to end poverty, to eradicate poverty. And there is a reason for that. Because a person living in poverty is denied the most important and basic opportunity to develop his or her potential fully. Never like today in our history, we are in a position where there are enough resources available to end poverty. The goal is achievable. It's not a dream. It's just about justice and solidarity. It is about structural changes, political will, but also about awareness and personal commitment. In this sense, I'm sure that Yusuf and UNDP will come together with this advocacy appointment and contribute greatly to the promotion of activities to eliminate poverty in Turkey. The pandemic has more than ever showed the whole world that we should leave no one behind because no one is safe until everyone is safe. Eradicating poverty is not a task of charity. It's an act of justice and the key to unlocking an enormous potential. Right now, half of the world is struggling to make ends meet without social protection like unemployment benefits or healthcare, a consequence of carefree and inequitable economies. Lack of food and clean water is killing thousands every single day. 1 billion people might be pushed to living in extreme poverty by 2030. A quarter of them as a result of the pandemic. And poverty is many times intertwined with inequalities, which make it even more unjust. Going back to the pandemic, the fact that 60% of available vaccines are concentrated in 4 countries tells us the whole story. Should we act now with an ambitious but feasible set of SDG investments across governance, social protection, green recovery, and digitalization, which are the 4 areas on which UNDP efforts on COVID-19 are focusing, we can lift around 150 million people out of extreme poverty by 2030, the majority in fragile and conflict-affected states. UNDP, with this appointment, wants to mobilize everyone, everywhere, to take action, individually and collectively, locally and globally, on the fight against poverty by all means. Dear Yusuf, I'm very proud to welcome you as no poverty advocate for UNDP Turkey. And there is no better testament to the UN spirit of solidarity that your effort for working hard for a better world, for a more equal world. I'm looking forward to working with you on all of our projects where no one is left behind. I believe you will successfully spread the word for us in our efforts to build together resilience for the most vulnerable groups. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Claudio Tomasi, for your inspiring and meaningful and beautiful words. And now we're turning to Yusuf now as the Goodwill Ambassador and speaking on behalf of my co-advocates, Shaika Ercümen, Bahar Toksoy Guidetti, and Giovanni Guidetti, would like to say, welcome, Yusuf. We are more powerful with you. Now, Yusuf Yazıcı, taking the floor as the UNDP Turkey No Poverty Advocate. Thank you. Thanks a lot. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for being here. During the last 1 year, the pandemic showed us that if we are going to be happy on the earth, then we need solidarity. Pandemic, in fact, made poverty more apparent and obvious all around the world. I think We all recognize this fact, and we feel that we cannot sit with the arms bound. And in the last 50 years, the prosperity level has been increasing, and more than 700 million people cannot sustain and maintain their basic needs. And while we are speaking here today, in fact, 24,000 children are dying because of poverty, and poverty has different definitions based on time and space. For example, one solution might work somewhere and at a different place, it cannot work. And if a solution works today, tomorrow it may not work. And there is one reason for poverty. It is inequality. The existing resources in the world are not being distributed equally and in a fair way. However, water, air, food, and medication are here at a sufficient amount for all of us. And recently, the inequalities are more apparent, although the number of poor was on the decline. With the pandemic, it is increasing again. And UN sees me someone who can deal with such a big problem. It's a great honor and it's a huge responsibility. I recognize this responsibility. Whenever I undertake a responsibility, I work hard. All my friends know about this. So first, I want to understand the reasons for and the causes for a problem. And then I start taking small but safe steps. We know that. There is one common mistake in such issues, making generalizations. I will never do that. And so you will see me not uttering big sentences, but acting. So my aim in this journey is not helping the poor people, but to look for answers to the question how we can eradicate poverty. Because for many years, some people have been organizing solidarity campaigns around the world. Maybe some of you among the audience have done this. In fact, feeling good is not the only thing. So I need to take steps that will make me feel good. I make everyone feel good. And I'm going to join my forces with the UNDP. I think you can see my excitement and my enthusiasm. I'm ready to do anything it will take. And I would like to thank everyone who offered me this opportunity. I'd like to thank everyone who exerted efforts for making this possible. And during my most challenging times, you members of the press were with me. I'd like to thank you very much for being there. Thanks a lot, Yusuf. Thank you for your sincere remarks and thank you for being with us. Soon we'll have a Q&A session. But, you know, this is the most exciting part. The invited members of the press, by the way, may type their questions in the Q&A box below. But now we kindly ask Mr. Yusuf Yazıcı and Mr. Claudio Tomasi to sign the letter of designation and show it to us. Now it's time for the signature. And in the meantime, the members of the press can type their questions in the Q&A box. Now the signatures are being affixed. Yusuf, put his signature very quickly. And would you please bring the paper closer to the screen? Yes, also let us see your face. Yes, let me take a picture of this moment. Well, yes. And I have the same request from Claudio Tomasi. Okay. Let me take the picture. Thanks a lot. Now it's time for the questions and answers session. While you were signing the letter, I was checking the questions. I think now we have 4 questions in total, and I'd like to start, if it is okay for you, with Yusuf. Well, Koray Durkal from Hürriyet Daily is asking the following question. Let me convey you the question from Koray Durkal. Recently, between LeBron James and Ibrahimovic, there was a battle of words. Ibrahimovic said that a sports athlete should do what he or she knows and shouldn't interfere with another business. So why do you think it's important for an athlete to be influential on social and environmental topics, Yusuf? So that's a very good question. Thank you. Well, I believe, okay, everyone should be able to give its own opinion and express its own opinion, and we should respect everyone's opinion. I can just speak on my behalf. So sports people and the artists are more influential on the people than the leaders. If you have such an influence and power, and if you're not using it, if you are not putting the world to a better place, then maybe you will feel guilty. So beyond being an athlete, as a good person, I would like to set a model for the others. So I'm not just giving a message that we should eradicate the poverty. So one day, if you see something unjust, please do not remain silent. This is the message that I'm trying to give. Well, yes, although you are in fact responsible for no poverty, in fact, all of us are responsible for all 17 goals, and they are the umbrella that we are all under. That's very good. Now there is one question for Mr. Tomasi. This is from İlker Yılmaz from Maç colleague. What's the role of sports in the world shaken by the pandemic? What good can this field contribute to the bleak circumstances the world currently experiences? So, Mr. Tomasi, how do you respond to this question of İlker Yılmaz from Maç colleague?
Thank you very much for giving the opportunity to talk about this, because it's a very important question. And under the COVID, I think you will all share with me that sports has saved so many lives, and has saved so many lives individually, and has also contributed to society. Individually, first of all, in terms of health, practicing sports during COVID-19 as being something that has kept us alive in terms of being able to function as human beings, but also in terms not only our physical health and well-being, but also our mental well-being. Is a proven that sports is very good cure against depression, anxiety, to raise our self-confidence and our self-esteem. In a situation of isolation, like many of us have been during this pandemic, sports has become even more important. It is already a key element of all of our lives, but under COVID-19, we really realize how important it is to keep us going. And this is very important. And this is as a individual, as a person, as people, but then as a society, under COVID-19, also has become very clear that sports incarnates very positive values for our societies. Values of fairness, values of team building, values of equality, discipline, resilience, all concepts that apply to our life, not only as an individual, but our life as society, as being together. And that is very important. But also another element that, in my opinion, has been very important for sports during the COVID is the issue related to gender, related to women. Unfortunately, we know how under the COVID-19 and the isolation, domestic violence has gone up, and all the inequalities basically that affect women have come out even more stronger in this sense. And sport is such a powerful and important place where women empowerment can be shown, where women can excel, where women can be at the same level as men for recognition, for self-esteem again, and for their success. And so that is also an important aspect for me. And lastly, but not last, also the role of sport in terms of integration, because sports is so powerful. Is probably one of the most powerful tools in the world to integrate people. And here in Turkey is a very clear example. Turkey is hosting, thankfully, the highest number of refugees in the world, and we always acknowledge this in a positive light and a positive fashion. And sports, in this sense, is such a powerful tool to get people from different backgrounds, languages, origins together and share their values, share their lives. And this is something that has become clear under COVID-19, was already clear before, but it's something that must make us reflect on how, and this is the reason why we deliberately chose sport and SDGs as the perfect wedding, because it speaks to people's hearts. And as Yusuf was saying, it doesn't only speak in big words, but it speaks in action. Sports is based on action. And what we have to do for SDGs, and that is my final point, is action. It's not talking and talking and talking, but it's to do. And that also something that the sports reminds us of, is a very good partner for us in the SDGs.
Thanks a lot for your beautiful answer. Now, again, one more question for Yusuf. What was the impact of the pandemic on your choosing the no poverty among the UN global goal? Atahan, Alternate is asking from Socrates Journal. Well, the pandemic made us turn and look at ourselves once again. It acted like a mirror. So in the mirror, we saw that everyone had its own troubles, and the things that we belonged were in fact meaningless. Well, in the world, there were too many injustices, and we have seen this with the pandemic. And unfortunately, the pandemic also added to these inequalities and injustices. The pandemic, the economic crisis brought about by the pandemic, impacted us all around the world. You know, those who were trying to make the ends meet, they were challenged more and more, because we're all on board the same vessel. If we do not embrace one another strongly, unfortunately, we will all sink. Unfortunately, those who know me for many years will remember that I've been trying to do something for many years, but with the pandemic, I understood that I have to do more. And about the timing, taking this step today is the correct thing to do. Thank you. There's another similar question. Eradication of poverty is very challenging and is a complicated problem, as you said. So what kind of roadmap did you make for yourself? Serkan Akkoyun, TRT. I wish I had the power to build justice, to end poverty all around the world. Unfortunately, I don't have the power to do it. But, you know, we cannot just get stuck thinking about how big this problem is, but you can divide the problem in manageable portions, and you can focus on finding solutions for those smaller portions, because this is the only way how you can understand which solution is working and which one is not working. It is very similar to life. In life, you go through many disasters and you take one step after another just to heal yourself and just to recover. I can speak based on my own experience. You know, I had an injury and I just focused on the things that I could manage and control. And then I said, okay, I will think about the next team when the time comes. And here there is UNDP team with this experience and knowledge. They will guide me. I'm relieved. I'm a realist. You know me. I'm not after miracles, but I will do my utmost to do the best. You can be sure. Well, very nice. In fact, you have done a miracle for yourself and you are back in the sports field to successfully play. And Gürkan Ak from NTV asked the question about this. So you wrote your big dreams on paper and that big dream came true. As UNDP advocate, what would be your big dream to write on the paper now? Well, yes, I wrote my big dreams on the papers. In fact, I never disclose it before it is materializing. Once it materializes, I will disclose it. Okay, that is good. So Gürkan Ak has to wait for the answer. Let me check with the technical team if we have any new question coming in, and I know that we also have time limitations. Currently, I don't have any other question for you. That was an excellent meeting, and really this step is thrilling for us, especially, speaking about the global goals and number one, I can say that this meeting is very meaningful and very valuable. In fact, all the goals, are interlinked, and they all come and get merged with the 17th one, inspiring one another to work jointly. This is another source of excitement. And, we're going to be a team now. Yusuf, you know very well about team working. You know what it is to be a small player in a big team. I hope we will be a good team. I hope the coach will not put us on the bench. And I hope we will have more time on the green field. So I'd like to give the floor to Mr. Claudio Tomasi, the floor for the closing remarks. But before he takes the floor, I'd like to ask Yusuf Yazıcı if he has anything more to say. I don't know, any feelings for today and tomorrow? Like, rest assured, I'm sure that the coaches will not put us on the bench and we will be on the ground. I know that you like being on the field and I like being on the ground. I know that this is not football, but I don't want to be sitting on the bench. I want to play. I hope we'll be good partners and we will do very good things with the UNDP family. Last but not least, I want to say that I'm very happy, I'm very excited and enthusiastic, and I'd like to thank the UNDP family for honoring me with this assignment. This is a very different sort of pride for me. Once this press conference is over, I can imagine how proud my parents will feel. I'm also happy about this. Thank you. You're always a source of pride. Thank you. Now we're equal. I think we have one last question, a last minute question. I'm sure that there are a lot of questions for you and Mr. Tomasi, but let me check. I think they're still typing in the question. Yes, now it is here. So far, you have achieved with concrete steps and concrete targets. And with this assignment from UNDP, what else you would like to do? Did you plan your next step? Cengiz Yıldız is asking from Punta, but you already answered this question. I think this question is for me. Yes, it is for you, Yusuf. Can you read it again? Yes, I will. So far, you have succeeded everything with concrete targets and concrete steps. Now, in UNDP, you are undertaking a new role. And what else would you like to do? What is your next step? What is your next plan? So he is asking all these within the framework of UNDP. Well, we're about to start the job. From now on, I will be taking the concrete steps. I just put the signature. Tomorrow, I will be on the field to play the match. Don't worry. We will play the best. Yes, the league is a long marathon to run. Yes, we will be the winners. And dear Claudio Tomasi, here, please take the floor for the closing remarks. And I would like to thank everyone who made this live broadcast possible. And I would like to thank all the members of the press who joined us in this press conference. And Mr. Tomasi, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mert. Let me start by thanking also the whole team who has made this event possible. And most importantly, to thank Yusuf for accepting this. You said that it's an honor for you, but it's also a great pleasure and a source of excitement for us. And your trajectory speaks by itself. Your words speaks the truth. You're very realistic and concrete person, and so we are. And so I'm sure that we're gonna be able to do practical things in the right direction. Dreams are big things. Of course, they guide us, but at the same time, we must be very realistic in what we can do and what we should do. Right now, we have built a very good team, and you are yet another big star in this team. Nobody will be left out the pitch. We have a very good turnover policy, so everybody got his minutes and his hours of playing, and everybody, most importantly, is needed, because it's like a team, and in a team everybody is needed to achieve the objective. So welcome again. I'm sure that we will do good things together. Thanks.
And we have very valuable goals to pursue. We will all work together towards these goals. And UNDP, thank you very much for giving us this opportunity. With best regards, and have a nice day.